Today we're going to go through what we call piston breathing, which is just a similar thing to diaphragmatic breathing. And the way you want to start is by positioning yourself the best possible way you can. So for that, you want to have your rib cage in line with your pelvis. And one way to check on that first is to think of your rib cage as sort of being a bell. So you don't want your bell to be ringing upwards and you don't want your bell to be ringing downwards. You want it to be just neutral. So if Erin, for instance, if she had her bell ringing upwards, so she was more flared out through here, then one thing we would do is prop her up with a pillow. And that will help bring her rib cage down sort of artificially. And then the other thing you want to check is your pelvis alignment. And to do that, you're going to put this part of your hand on your ASIS, which are the sticky out part of your pelvis right here. And then you're going to put this part of your fingers on your pubic bone, which is below. So it's going to basically form a triangle that looks like this. And when you're feeling your triangle, you want it to be in an even plane. So you don't want the tip to be pointing down and you don't want the tip to be pointing up. So let's say that Erin's was pointing way down. We might want to put a bolster or a rolled up towel or a yoga mat underneath her knees. And by contrast, if she was pointed up and her legs were flat, then we would have to actually cue her to relax through her low back and bring it down a little bit. So we're going to have Erin with her knees on the bolster, just in a relaxed position. And at that point, what we want to do is just practice breathing. So with piston breathing, you're going to breathe into the bottom of your rib cage by your diaphragm. And you want to think about this as a 360-degree motion. You're not just breathing into your belly and making your belly go up. You're breathing into your diaphragm from all sides, so thinking about expanding the bottom of your rib cage like an umbrella opening from all sides. You're just going to breathe a little bit. On your exhale, you should not feel everything clenching up, and you also shouldn't feel your triangle tucking or pointing down. If you're the kind of person who breathes a lot into your chest and that's hard to break, you can take one hand, put it up here, take one hand, put it on your diaphragm, and just think, I want my bottom hand to go up and down, and I want my top hand not to move at all. Good. And you're just going to practice that for a minute or two. The next phase would be to work on your exhale. So after you feel like you can just breathe comfortably in this position without thinking about it too much, then you're going to switch your exhale to be more thoughtful, and you're going to think about blowing out through a straw. So Erin's going to breathe in, and then she's going to exhale like she's blowing out through a straw. Nice and easy. She's not pushing a lot of air out. And when you blow out through your straw, you should feel the lowest muscles right above your pubic bone start to engage. So you're going to breathe in and think about just relaxing. And you're going to exhale and feel those muscles start to go in. Again, breathe in, relax, exhale, feel those muscles start to go in. Good. And that's basically piston breathing. There's some variations depending on what you feel you have some challenges with. One thing that really helps out a lot of people who tend to tuck their butt under or who are really heavy chest breathers is we'll have people practice this on their belly. So you can come down. At home, you can just put your head on your hands. And from this position, it's really the same thing, but it's easier to focus on breathing into your lower ribs. And then exhale through your straw. Your chest is blocked, so it's a lot harder to breathe into your chest in this position. work, Erin. Okay, and then the last variation is on your side. I really like this one for people who have trouble feeling their lower abs engaging on the exhale. So on this one, you want to think about same thing, breathing into your rib cage. And on your exhale, it's a lot easier in this position to notice if your tendency is to tuck your butt under when you exhale, or if your tendency is to grip with your more superficial abs right in here when you exhale. And one thing I'll have people do is take their top hand and put it right on their belly here. So then you can feel whether your diaphragm is expanding on your inhale, and you can also feel whether this hand goes in before your low abs on your exhale, or whether this hand goes in after your low abs on your exhale. And that's it. Go home and practice.